Okay, I'm back, episode number 5. We are going to be painting the car in this episode. I started about a year ago and it's taken me a long time to do it. I'm currently working on the doors, which are just down here. They're taking a lot of work. I don't actually, do the spray painting on video. There's a lot of videos you can watch out there where you can watch people painting. I'm not a painter, so I do the best I can. It turned out, I'm actually quite happy on how well it turned out. All right, here's episode number 5. Okay, it's going to be a very long night. I've already got the spray tent top put up. The car's resting there. Got a dolly on the front there so I can move the car around. Now all I've got to do is take everything back to bare metal. It is in bare metal. I've just got to rub it back again. I've put a rust converter over the top to protect the metal. Now I've got to take all that off before I start to spray. Here's my spray setup. So we've got the compressor, Chicago compressor, going through 10 meters of hose into a water catcher right here. There's also another one on the actual compressor. Got another one here into the retractable hose, and on the end of the spray gun, before it goes through, and I've got 2 spray guns here, I've got another water catcher here and an adjustable regulator to adjust the air. So we've got our epoxy primer all ready to go. We've got our primer, which is a high fill primer, ready to go as well. And then we've got the top coat. So top coat, I've gone with crayon. This is the color. So it's a Porsche color, which is single stage. So it's a gloss finish. There is no clear coat. This is just from stirring it the other day to get the colour, see how it came out. It came out really well. I think the next 4 days, give or take, lots of sanding, lots of painting. I'll put up plastic all around this and create positive or negative pressure. We'll work out what's best for painting. But we've got 2 air filters, extraction fans, one here, still in the box, and a smaller one here. So we'll see how we go. But so far, so good. I think we'll do all right with this. We've just got to sand everything back to bare metal, wipe it down, mask everything off, including the floors and all the walls. Then we'll start to paint, get the epoxy down. On the outside only. I will do inside, but I'll do that once I've got the outside done. So what I've been doing, as I've been sanding it all back, as you can see, this is where it's all been freshly sanded. I'm putting circles, I'm marking where I can see little pits of rust. One there, one there. And what I'll do is before I go and give the car a final rub down, I'll actually grind these out so there is no rust in there. And I'll wipe them down with thinner around the inside of these holes as well for the badge. I'm going to clean up and up around where the old antenna was. So the idea is to keep it rust free as long as I can. Any little areas that I identify like this, I'll take them out pretty quickly before we do the epoxy coat. So I'm probably 2 hours in right now. As you can see, most of the back's done. I'm not focusing too much inside behind the bumpers. It's kind of a secondary areas. I'm not too worried about it. It will be fine. Now I've gone and sanded all of the main body around here, along the edge, up over the top. The roof has been done as well. I just need to do along the inside of the window area, down the windows, and then from here forwards. So tidy up. As you can see, all in here is done. All around the back is done, around the window frame. I do have to tidy up inside this gutter where I've welded new patch areas in here. I've got to grind all this out, scuff it up so it will take the paint or take the epoxy. I've got to do around here, around this quarter window, and then as you can see, the roof is pretty much done except for the top area at the back here. So I'm just going down inside this door here. You can see here silver, and then on this side is all this matte finish because of the age of the metal and because I had rust protection on it. So I've got to go down here along inside, and then I'll work my way all the way to the front. So that's 2 hours in. Okay, so the epoxy layer is down. I do need to go around and tidy up a few things. All in all, it came out really well, as you can see. Look at it, it's there's very little rubbish in the paint except for around here somewhere, there's a little bit of rubbish. There was one run in the paint right here. You can just see it, but that was because when I first started painting, the pot was too full. It actually dripped on there. It wasn't a run, it was just a drip. Other than that, there's no runs anywhere. I'm actually really surprised on how well it came out. So as you can see here, super smooth. Everything's been done all under here. I'm going to give it another layer inside here. I just want to get underneath the ridge there. And I want to get the bottom of these, I want to get the chassis rails. I want to get in here and actually paint inside the chassis rails all the way along so they're completely covered, because that's where most of the water is going to come in here. So I want to make sure that they're all completely sealed, all underneath here, underneath this bottom area. And then I'll go seam seal the whole thing. All around here will be seam sealed, just like in the factory. And then I'll give it another spray of epoxy, and then I'll do primer. So all the way along here. Inside here it will all be, that black paint to protect it from underneath, from the harsh elements. But all of this came up really well. I'm so impressed in how well it came down, or how well it sprayed down. In the roof, look at it, there's nothing in the roof. There's no grit, actually there's one bit of grit right there, which I'll have to get rid of, but that's fine. That's easily done. A little bit of body filler along here, just to fill this little dent in. And a little bit of hair in that. So just about going around the whole car. Oh, I didn't tidy that up, did I? That looks a bit shit. I forgot about that. So I can fix it up now with the sanding. I forgot when I sanded it, I didn't sand it completely, so you can see it wasn't sanded completely. I need to smooth it out because that will show. No, but very, very impressed on how well the first layer went down. Okay, so I've done another layer of epoxy. Now I've done it over the top of seam sealer. As you can tell, it's all been seam sealed. There's no gaps around the metal where the two bits of metal are touching. So a full layer of epoxy over the whole car again. So it's probably 3 coats. It's come up really, really well. All in the door jambs, all around the top of the door jambs, all up the top here. Probably need to put another layer of epoxy in this roof line just to protect it. As you can see, all done. All seam sealed where I've welded the guards that were cut so no water will get in. There we go. Next to do is body filler to straighten out some of the creases in the panel, like here. And then I can do the primer layer. So once I can do the primer, I'll give the full car a big block sand. Look how smooth that is. Look how good that top. Look how good the roof is. Just came up really, really well. I'm so happy with the finish. Okay, so first application of Bondo has gone on, or bog, body filler, whatever you want to call it. So I've gone around the whole car, filled in any small dents which I could find. There's not many. I couldn't find one here, but I knew there was one there from when I sanded it, but I can't remember where about it is. It's only very slight. So that'll just need a nice rub back. Same on this one here. The worst spot on the whole car is right here. Okay, so someone's driven into something and put a crease all the way along here. So we'll just wait for that to dry so that I can sand it off. Okay, so we're done now with 2 epoxy layers. I've done all the seam sealer, I've done body filler to clean up all these edges here, where I've done some rust repairs. It is now had a final coat of primer applied to it. So it is in very good condition. Everything is done. Look, around here I've used seam sealer where I've done the welding, where I've done a pinch weld all the way along here. These holes are for the flares, of course. And if you look, everything is looking nice and clean. All the lines are good. There's no rubbish in the paint. I probably shouldn't be rubbing my fingers all over it, but you know what? I'll give the car a wipe down. Just going around, tidying up right now, everything, pulling off all these. If there's any little bits of rubbish in the paint, this is the time to take it out. Like there's one right here, see here? I need to now go get a bit of sandpaper and I'll denib that, I'll take it out. The whole car will get a full rub down, or wet rub down, with some very fine grit, but what I'm doing right now is just going around the car, feeling out any bits of rubbish that's caught in the paint, like here. Just taking the tops off them. So you can see here, that top's been taken off. I'll give the whole car a sand after anyway. I'll put a guide coat down. But where that little bit is, it's been taken right down nice and flat, so it won't show up under the final coat. So I reckon this weekend I'll be able to get some colour down. As you can see, all done around the windows. Inside here, I do need to give it a little bit of a rub down inside, like here, to smooth it out. But I am so close. I reckon a couple of hours spent rubbing the whole car down, and then I'll be able to spray this Sunday, get some colour on the car. Very, very happy with the progress so far. There's no major issues at all. In fact, there's no minor issues either. I'm just going to rub the whole car back. Like everything's been done all around the window. As you can see, inside the gutters. I just need to smooth out little bits like this. There's a little bit there where there's a bit of trash in the paint. So sand them down before I start doing the edges in colour. But you can see down here where there was some body work done. It's nice and smooth. The flares will come to here, so back further to here, there's nothing wrong with it at all. There's a little dent under here. I do need to denib this whole back ledge here. It seems to catch all of the rubbish along here. So I'll give this a bit of a less scrub before I do the final coat. See here? Little bits of rubbish in there like that. Got to get rid of it all. It's very easy to get rid of. there we go. Okay, so final masking of the car. I've gone around, the whole car's been rubbed down with 800, so it's nice and smooth all the way around. Fixed up any little bits that were a little bit unsightly. As you can see, everything's done in primer. So I've got one tiny run to get rid of, which is right down here. Then it's mask the floors off, so there's no dust. Wipe the car down. I'm going to give the whole car a full spray of colour. Okay, so I've bolted together the front end. All the bolts are in for the flares. I was skimmed, so everything's in epoxy at the front. Okay, so the whole front, the bonnet is in there in epoxy as well. This is the paint I'm finishing in. So this is the colour that we're finishing in, which is a crayon colour from Porsche brand. I've skimmed the areas that need to be sanded and smoothed. I'll just put some body filler on there for the moment. I'll give it a sand down in a couple of days once it's fully cured. This one was probably the most in need of tidying up. So this guard was the most in need for skimming. Here's the bonnet in here. So the bonnet was great, apart from on this side of the bonnet there was a line which was dented in. So again, a little bit more tidying up. So I'll finish that. I'll bolt it onto the car. This guard looks terrible. Nose cone looks great, apart from a couple of little imperfections, which I'm trying to fix up. Along this side, only a few small dents, one right here. I'll sand all this nice and smooth before I primer it. And then I'll get onto the doors, get them on the car, then give the whole car a flow coat. I'll give the entire car a nice spray paint in one go. We're getting there.